Goosebumps is my favorite book series of all time. I grew up with R.L. Stine, reading a new book every week just about. I'd say I read at least 90% of his first series through elementary school. Stine is a master at captivating young minds and introducing them to a world of darkness. My older sister and I's late-night horror binges of Friday the 13th and Hellraiser were a major influence as to why I loved Stine's work as a kid, and why I was excited to play Goosebumps Dead of Night by developer Cosmic Forces. The game begins with a cutscene in an old mansion on a dark and stormy night. Cliché, I know. The cutscene then leads to a typewriter talking to you in Jack Black's voice. Yes, the Jack Black voices some characters in this game. That's a pro for me.
Stine. Just R.L. Stine, a writer. I wrote Goosebumps. You know, over 400 million in print worldwide. Never mind that for now. Something has... writer's block. So horrible. I need ink. Look in the closet. In the hallway. Help!
Pressing plus or minus brings up the menu screen, which has a diagram that shows you the control scheme. On the left, you can reload from the last checkpoint, reset chapter, access various options like sound and control, and go back to the main menu. On the right is where you can see the objectives. Some objectives will populate on their own, following the storyline. Other objectives you can pick up while you're playing and exploring. What I noticed though is the objective menu that pops up on the top right doesn't stay there. It appears and then disappears with no way to bring it back unless you come across something needed for a current objective, or if you find a new objective. So if you forget what you're looking for or where to go, you have to pause. That might not be an issue for most, but I would have liked a button to press to toggle it to appear or disappear so that I wouldn't have to be taken out of the game each time I needed to remind myself of what to do. The objectives aren't in any particular order either, so you can't click on it or select the objectives to toggle which you want to do. You can just do them in any order you see fit.
You must be Stine's newest puppet. I think I'll have fun with you.
You notice right away there's no save option. The game auto-saves, which can be a blessing or a curse. The checkpoints when you die are hit or miss, in fairness, in that the game does set you back a ways when you reload. So you have to keep playing back to the point where you died if you didn't die where an auto-save occurred. On that note, load times. It took at least 1 minute each time you reloaded. While that doesn't sound like a long time, if you are consistently dying, it can grate on your nerves. On top of having to replay a bit to get back to where you were, the load times take away from Goosebumps Dead of Night's experience. What's supposed to be scary and creepy quickly becomes aggravating. As you progress, you'll encounter familiar enemies like Slappy the Puppet, Vengeful Lawn Gnomes, and Dr. Brewer, characters from Night of the Living Dummy,
Here you go, dear.
Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes,
Enjoy.
and Stay Out of the Basement,
This looks
respectively.
awful. I can't eat that.
I made it especially for you. It'll make you stronger. Better.
Goosebumps Dead of
I only
Night
want what's
will
best
have
for
you
you.
exploring
Okay,
basements,
Daddy.
dodging monster blood,
I'll
throwing
try.
gnomes, running for your life, and reliving the terrors of some of Stine's most famous books in the series. The frame rates often dropped when you moved to survey the area, but it righted itself after a few moments, although this happened quite often. There are also puzzles to solve as you progress, and they weren't too difficult to figure out. Maneuvering the left thumbstick to move and the right to crouch by pressing R3 proved to be somewhat tedious at times because with the right thumbstick also functioning as a way to look around, I couldn't press it quick enough to duck out of the way of enemies at times since my camera was all over the place. This can especially be irritating when you're using L2 to run away from enemies, all while watching your stamina because it drains quickly. Even changing the sensitivity doesn't make much difference. Be sure to time your sprints, or you could be in for a bad time. There are quite a few jump scares as to be expected with this series, so if you're not a fan of those, you might want to turn down the effects, because it can get loud during those moments. Overall, Goosebumps Dead of Night is a creepy, fun-filled nostalgia trip. I thoroughly enjoyed playing through various worlds and encountering characters from the Goosebumps universe. Awkward controls and load times aside, it's still fun to play, and with Jack Black's voiceovers, it makes the experience that much more entertaining.
You finally made it? Still playing Stine's twisted little games, eh? I hate to pop your bubble, but you can't stop me or my friends.
Hello? Listen, I'm Dr. Brewer. Hello? I'm Dr. Brewer. We have both been poisoned and are mutating at an alarming rate. Find a microscope. If I can see how the poison is affecting you, I may be able to devise a cure.